Soccer and odds and ends, soccer and odds and ends are soccer and odds and ends are river play.
Hello everyone, finally the missing voice has appeared. Maximiliano Salas made a scathing post on his social media, on his Instagram account, and also, to add more fuel to the fire, some of his former teammates, important ones from racing, liked the post. What does this mean? That they agree with what Maxi Salas did, obviously, even though some journalists you'll see in this report tried to cover up or sugarcoat the situation. We know on this channel, we're not going to give numbers. What Maxi Salas was earning at racing is not in line with what he should be earning. A guy who was fundamental in winning an international tournament for racing after so many years. Here, you start to see things as journalists. Those close to Diego Milito, those who are racing fans, I understand, but well, those close to Diego Milito's fanboys, they worked against River, throwing dirt at River, and then others joined in who are directly anti-River. Always, that's why it's so good to hear the word always from Mariano Clos. You can disagree with Mariano Clos about football, have different opinions than him, but there's no doubt that he speaks with reason. The different standards among journalists expose them. One is a Class A journalist, and the others are Class C, some of them. Journalism is left very exposed, and the Anti-River Corporation is left very exposed. With all this, because Maximiliano Salas is a kid who honestly gave everything for racing, he gave it his all, and the only sin he committed was going to the biggest club in Argentina and the biggest in America. That's a sin. Don't you try to move up in your job? I was angry when Franco Mastantuono was sold to Real Madrid, and I didn't like the arrogance of Real Madrid coming and taking him. But we didn't make all the fuss these guys are making, dragging a kid through the mud, hating on him everywhere. It's not right. I don't like it. And from this channel, we're really going to support Maximiliano Salas. I hope he becomes the new Mencho. Medina Bello brings back a lot of memories from when I first became a member of River. We support you, Maximiliano Salas. Have a great debut against Platense. Now the report.
There was a voice missing here. He may or may not be right. It's up to people to decide whether to believe him. Now that he brought up a bunch of situations that Caviglia is going to read now? I was having a drink, eating something, already having dinner with Diego with La Torre, and he was reading. He sees things I lack, such as social media, he said. The likes from some racing players, he was telling me. Could it be? Did that happen?
Yes, that happened.
About that, let me tell you something. Does that make it even more... some internal issue within racing? Because when someone brings something up, you could say it's my word against everyone else's. But when third parties get involved, I don't know how many or who, right? To support their friend, I don't know how all this could end. Tommy, I want to hear your brief thoughts, and Esteban's too, because Esteban was the one who also brought the information. We watched all this unfold, thinking Salas would eventually have to speak.
A lot of noise. First of all, it's not normal that during the celebration of a championship, because it happened here on our show, Salas would say right in the middle of the celebration, shouting at the top of his lungs, asking them to improve his contract. It's not normal.
How's the racing world today, Tommy? And we're going to read what Salas said, what he posted. If you don't know what's going on, it's very intense. He had a hard time. He's venting. I think it's coming from deep inside, right? What we've read, I read it yesterday, honestly. It's very intense. You say, oh, really? Was Salas's life at racing like that? Let's see, Caviglia, read it.
Today I'm speaking. I know there's a lot of anger, frustration, fabrication, and lies. I've always given everything for these colors, right up to my last breath. I've been responsible in training. I've represented the club in the best way, giving my all, because this is my job. I defended the colors with my teammates, Coach Costas, and the technical staff, whom I thank for their trust in me. By choosing me for racing, we won the Copa Sudamericana and the Recopa together. But I also know where I come from, and everything I've been through. I've been independent since childhood, achieving everything through sacrifice and hard work. When I joined racing, I was a free agent handling my own transfer. The contract I've had until today is the same one I signed back then, and they never gave me anything extra, never. With current management, my agent has asked for a salary increase, but was told to keep proving myself. That thing about us never reaching an agreement is a complete lie. They never wanted to give me even a single peso more, which was disappointing to me. I never gave my word to anyone or shook anyone's hand, as the racing president described. That is absolutely false. River and Racing called to me days before I went to Paraguay, but they hadn't improved my contract yet. It was only when River showed interest that they acknowledged my existence and offered me a new contract, realizing the situation was about to get complicated for them. The management, not the fans, made me suffer all this time. And they give false information to the press about me not keeping my word. I left out of dignity after months of mistreatment. I was always straightforward, but it's easier to blame me than to admit their mistake. I apologize for my mistakes, but others were also responsible. Thanks to all my fans for their support through the ups and downs. Thank you to Gustavo Costas and his coaching staff. Thank you to my teammates and the club's staff. Maxi.
Writing is an intense activity, as we all know. A text message to someone and we use capital letters is because we want to emphasize that word. Pay attention to what attracts attention and what doesn't. Focus on the one that does. Is that none other than Martinez and none other than Nardoni are supporting the player.
And that's not normal. It also struck me that Milito, in his statements with Hernan Feller and Gustavo Lombardi, he took aim at Brito, at River, at Gallardo. He was firing shots everywhere. The only one he didn't go after, who was it?
The player.
The player? It catches our attention. Why didn't he say anything?
We said it stands out.
It stands out.
Well, yesterday Salas spoke out and made it known. About the likes, several players liked the post and then immediately removed it. It seems only Maravilla, Martinez, and Almendra kept their likes. The others removed theirs for unknown reasons.
In fact, you have to wonder why some of them removed it. I have the answer. I think there was an internal request to remove the likes, but there were some players with personality who kept their likes. I mean, obviously at Racing they don't want this to keep snowballing because Racing is starting to get exposed in this whole situation.
If this is true, it's a scandal what happened with Milito. If what Sanchez says is true, it's a scandal.
It's not true that he always earned the same, and it's not true that he didn't give the agreement. The agent gave the agreement. He lied about two things. In my opinion, he has to take responsibility for Salas now. Juanfer Quintero said he preferred to go to River and to say it like it is. Do you want to play for River? That's fine. Nene, no one is going to get mad because of what it means to each person. En el mundillo Racing se hablaba. In the racing world, players, including Salas, were upset with the management and voiced their complaints. There were also complaints about wanting higher earnings and perceiving Milito as distant. In response, Milito sat down to play truco, filmed himself, and utilized Chatruk and Chanch's presence. Tevez, the club likely posted it to show the outside world. No distance or bad vibes exist. Milito, everything's fine with the players.
Information and I take responsibility. What I'm saying is that the contract with Salas was finalized before he went to Paraguay, to the point that I have confirmation he already had a ticket, his agent and also the directors of Básica.
But that's what Salas says.
That Friday morning.
But wait, but Salas. But Tommy Salas doesn't deny that. Salas says, when River came, that's when they realized I existed.
He denies there was an agreement and that they shook hands, Mariano. He denies sealing the agreement verbally.
He believes they began noticing him when River arrived at the door.
He didn't want the player to leave. At least not because of the clause or to Racing. Maybe they didn't do what was necessary before, but they didn't want to lose him as a player.
No, but wait, don't say it like that. So casually. Maybe they didn't do what was necessary. Those are the reasons why Salas is leaving.
Salas wanted to leave.
Besides, they were offering him more money.
What this racing manager tells me is that he didn't come to us directly. He didn't come straight to tell us he wanted to leave. And this person tells me that's normal. He says, we already know that River is going to pay him 4 times more or much more.
That's also why they got offended when I said that River is to Racing what Real Madrid is to River. There was no competition in this situation. There is none, and there's no room for it.
What they were expecting, they tell me, is... It's true that Maxi Salas gives Diego Milito a hug in the dining room. He says he accepted the agreement, and there are player witnesses who saw it happen. We were naive. This manager told me maybe he brought the paper there for him to sign. Everything had already been agreed upon by then. In fact, this person tells me, a manager from Racing, if that contract was renewed, he says the clause would increase to 15. We have no issue. It would rise to 15 and he would ask, do you want to take me to River? No problem, we accept it. Well, we're talking about almost double. That's the version.
I don't know what Racing says because they told you.
That's why they're the losers. for the last 15 days. Because what needs to be emphasized in Salas's letter is everything Salas felt, that they ignored him all this time, during their time together practically at racing.
Because Salas exposes them with his words, because the fans are angry, because River took the player away, and above all, and also because of what we've been talking about, that there are many players on the team and the coaching staff who legitimize Salas's complaint by liking it, which is a social media thing, but in the end, they're legitimizing it. Legitimizando.
Drusi isn't there, Borja's there, but he's not really there.
He doesn't seem like a team leader.
Because today he's a bulldozer.
He looks like a team leader. How's the field?
The guy Vino took it, everything set up. Do you guys think he did a workout? He didn't have a single training session outside the team. They told him, come here, are you ready to play? Are you ready to focus? Are you ready to train? Yes, he does everything else he does, and he wants to play.
So now Salas can train already?
I have that information that Racing has received the 9,200,000 because it was 8,500,000 euros. So 9,200,000 pesos.
He's been training since yesterday with the approval of the Players Union and the Argentine Football Association.
Okay, he signed.
And with yesterday's training, today's and tomorrow's, yes. Now that Racing already has the money and everything else, surely we'll see the official photo in a few hours, that's all. Now I repeat what I said all week, even without being out of shape. Here, I don't see him out. First, I don't see him out. From the list of those called up, obviously he'll be there. Now, some people say, what if he's a starter? And I wouldn't lack reasons to think that he's a starter.